to Opportunity Embassy. Today we are lucky enough to be given a tour and some insight into Joel's business here, IMC International Mascot Corporation. Charlotte's here with me joining us today. So maybe tell us a little bit about what your business is about.
Well, it's kind of a strange business. Most people don't realize there is an industry out there for high quality character costumes. That's what my company does. We design and we manufacture them, and we send them all around the world. From there we have a primary manufacturing and sales office here in Edmonton. We have a secondary manufacturing, customer service office and sales office in Atlanta.
How did you get into, this business to begin with mascots? It's kind of a strange thing in the oil industry.
Yeah. It's funny, you never realize what you're going to do when you're young. I went to college with two friends. We started a company out of college called Scheme a Dream, which was a special events agency. Basically, we went around and they did singing telegrams and balloons. It was actually started by Dean Bai and Brian Baker, my two ex-partners, and I joined them a couple of years later after graduating. So that was in 1979. I joined them in '81, and as part of what we were doing, we needed costumes. And then after that, Calgary landed the Winter Olympic Games, and we were lucky enough to secure the contract to build Heidi and Howdy. And we built 62 sets of Heidi and Howdy costumes, and they were used around the world and promoted by Travel Alberta, promoted by the Canadian government, by our organizing committee from Calgary. Then we get a contract with American Greetings to build their Care Bears. So right here, after a costume has been sold or a project has been sold, this is what we call our production control area. And this is where all of the information that is needed to detail how something has to be built, what it looks like, is all assimilated in here so that there's a proper handoff. So here, in this department, this is our major sewing division here, and we do one-offs, we do some duplicates, and we do large multiples of all different types of costumes. These are baseball jerseys, they're being built. These are accessory clothing for one of our clients. So when it comes to building the actual costumes, making the shapes, there's a couple different ways we can do that. First of all, it's kind of a hand process where we actually cut out foams based upon patterns to create shapes. That's this material here, which is a lightweight, dense zope foam. They're easy for people to wear. Cool, we have ventilation systems put in them. That's especially important when you're dealing with international requirements because the weather is so much different.
Is there, in the process of going global, it sounds like there was a lot of surprise opportunities that came to you, but do you find any mistakes that were made that maybe if you had a bit more information up front or in the process of going global?
Yeah, I think some of the mistakes that we made is assuming that things run from a governmental standpoint the same way they run here. We were pretty naive. I mean, when you want to start shipping costumes to Bolivia, when you're shipping costumes into certain parts of Asia, you can run into a lot of different issues. And there was one particular time I remember where we shipped some costumes all the way to Australia, which was extremely expensive. So we had to pay for that. And even most recently, and this goes back to operational excellence, quality control, and the importance of being thorough from start to finish in a business. And so we shipped out like about, I think it was 96 different types of Smurf costumes last year. here's an interesting little situation. Here we have Poland meeting Egypt and Egypt meeting Poland. So these characters, these are they're giraffes that are in production, and they're going to go to Toys R Us in Europe to the Poland marketplace. We're also developing a quote right now for the Middle East, for there's stores out there. And this is, we were focusing on, first of all, the Canadian marketplace. Then we realized the potential in the U.S. markets. So we established an office in the mid to late 80s in Bridgeport, Connecticut, just so we had a U.S. representation or address. And you know, we've taken a look at a few stages. We've looked at some of the costume heads, some of the bodies, but throughout the entire process, it always has to be monitored so you're not getting off track, especially in making a custom product. Because if you make a mistake and you send it to Egypt, you've got a real problem, right? Yeah. Now you're going to be really losing money. So you really have to pay attention. So we've talked a lot about ensuring that you're good at home. You build your business domestically. And here's another example of that. This character here, it's a wolf. It's going to go to the Anheuser-Busch theme park in Williamsburg, Virginia. He has a mechanical jaw that will move. He's part of a stage show. This particular octopus down here is going to Pacific Park on the coast of California. Again, that's used for another theme park.
So would you say then that you use technology to its full potential in your business, or is there something, like if you could dream of, say we're inventing robots tomorrow or something that there's a problem in your business that could solve, what would you...
Well, I have a great answer for that. Can I see that model for a second?
Sure.
Okay. This is a three-dimensional object. Okay. So what I'm trying to do, and I'm working with a friend of mine in Nashville, is to take advantage of three-dimensional computerization technology, graphics technology, so that you can scan a three-dimensional image.
Like how do you put your feelers out for partnerships, and how do you choose them? And
well, it's kind of it's not rocket science, but it just, for whatever reason, it just seems to work. So we only have 1.5 full-time salespeople here. That's it. Okay. So how do we sell so many costumes, and how do we take care of so many clients? Well, the whole idea is you take your clients and you turn them into representatives. And then we have very strong strategic alliances with customers that market and sell our product, like Jorge Olea in Madrid, Spain, with Alive mascots. And then we have strategic alliances with, you could call them competitors, but they're not.
wow.
So when you're in a competitive environment, if you can create enough of a respect, a mutual respect amongst each other, you can really leverage that to your... Okay, I build costumes, right? Rainbow builds costumes. And my friend Chuck at Animax, at certain times, he builds costumes. A company called V down in Minneapolis, they build all of the Sesame Street costumes. I mean, there's lots of really good costume makers. Character costumes in California, so it makes a beautiful looking costume. Are they functional? Some are, some aren't. Certain people have expertise in certain materials or techniques, say technology, so you have moving jaws and eyes and things like that. I like the character challenge, the fun of the characters. I mean, they're all unique. It's kind of like living in a cartoon world. I like that. I like the diversity of people that I deal with. I deal with all people from all walks of life, all different businesses, and people from all around the world. Here we are in the warehouse, and I mean, in this particular warehouse, there's probably $450,000 worth of investment in inventory materials. That's a significant investment. If you want to run a business, you got to manage your inventory properly. So everything is all tagged, it's all coordinated with our materials acquisitions, our procurement department, as well as with our distribution into the production environment. So when a project is put together, like the ones that you see back over here, this department will actually take the material, cut off whether it's 10 yards or 2 yards, and it will go then to the people building the costume products. We've got all the details. We go to production control. We disperse the information. We disperse the materials. We coordinate how we build everything. We monitor it through the process so that we're not making mistakes and having to redo, right? And then it goes through quality control. It's checked, signed off, and it comes to Jessica for shipping. And when it comes to international shipping, there's lots of different ways you can do it. But the most important thing is it has to be timely, and it has to be cost effective. And it has to be easy for the customers to clear domestically. So here, one of the things that we ran into when we secured that big order for those Jeffries, 700 Jeffries, we had to figure out how do you do it. I was showing you how we did the hand manufacture of those Duke Dragons. You can't do that with 700, not and deliver them in 3 months. It's not going to happen. So what you do is you have to have molds made and you have to vacuum form your product. So we invested in this machine. It's a vacuum form machine. What it'll do is it will heat up various types of product. Foam's usually in here. It goes into the machine, it heats and comes back out, and then the mold is secured to it, and you end up with a finished product that looks something like that for a foot. So what I learned is look at your people, and just because they're set up to do this particular set of responsibilities, and they're doing 90% of them great and 10% of them poorly, and then you're focusing on the 10% they're not doing well, that's a mistake. They're still a really good person. Just change the responsibilities. Make them focused more so that they're more productive and happy. And so that's, this past month, that's what, a little epiphany I had there. So, and that's what I'm doing right now. And we got a lady down in our Atlanta office. She's going to get promoted. She's going to take over all of our costume management programs for clients, all of the cleaning and repair, and that'll become more of a separate division where she's just focused on that instead of other things. And we're doing some other specialized things down there as well.
She's enacting her hedgehog.
That's right, exactly, exactly. Yeah, well, she's highly organized. That's what you need to be. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, well, thanks for joining us today, and hopefully you liked entering into Joel's cartoon world a little bit as we
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun.